Greetings, humans, in the realm of Earth. I am Sollum famed apprentice of wizard Ebrius Porcos, and through my studies of the dark arts discovered a portal to your realm and greater stores of lore than the greatest bibliotheca in my lands. Amid these I discovered creepypastas, and although inedible, are a mere fraction of dark history and tales I find most intriguing. Alongside my human companion, the Narrator, and his Electricae Computatrum, we are scouring the internal nets for more and more of these writings. It has been my decision that both those from my personal Librarius and those of this world must be shared, to educate the wary and entertain those who appreciate the shadow as well as the light. Come and join us for a reading, and for a time, enter a world outside of your own, or quite possibly inside your very home.
Today's story is by Depmemes on r/creepypasta on Reddit. Title: Giraffe Man. This is a story that happened to a buddy of mine who recently retired. Wherever you are, and whatever you do next, I wish you the best of luck, Mike. It was a rainy day in August 1990. I was still a fairly new officer, still full of hope. I'd never seen a bad accident or anything bad, other than a few bad fights. It was a slow day, not many calls coming out in the quiet town of Nowhere, Kentucky. I yawned and stepped out of my car to go grab a cup of cheap coffee from the gas station. I remember standing around and talking with my partner while watching the rain fall out the window. A call came out over the radio. Call for a welfare check on a resident, adult male, family has not seen or heard from relative in a week. Units en route respond. I look at my partner and shrug as she informs dispatch that we would be en route. We arrived at the house and met the caller, the homeowner's sister. She was extremely concerned about her brother as no one in her family had heard from him in a week. He wouldn't answer the phone, he wouldn't answer the door, and they couldn't see him through any windows. We asked the sister to wait on the sidewalk as we approached the house. I knocked on the door. "State Police! Come to the door!" There was no answer. I knocked again, and no answer. The sister attempted to call again, and I could hear the phone ringing inside the house. My partner approached the back of the house and found the window on the back door had been busted. She reached through and unlocked the door. I followed in behind her. We soon found the occupant in the attic. A knocked-over chair on the floor next to him and an extension cord around his neck, tied to the roof support. I had only heard stories about officers finding suicide victims, how sad it can be, how sickening it is if it's your first. I looked at him, his neck elongated like a giraffe from hanging, his face frozen in pain and purple. I felt sick. I had to force it down. I had a job to do. We cordoned off the house as a crime scene as per protocol. Evidence techs, chaplains, investigators, and other officers arrived all to fulfill their duties. I held it together until the crime scene was released. I sat in my car, unable to get the image of that man out of my head. My partner asked if I was okay. She knew it was my first suicide scene. "Yeah, I'll be fine." But I knew that was a lie. And so did she.
"I don't know if you're much for prayer, but maybe you ought to speak to the chaplain. It might do you some good."
I just repeated, "I'll be okay." Later that night I sat at home, smoking a cigarette at the kitchen table and drinking a glass of bourbon. I had the TV on in my living room as background noise. It was a failed attempt at keeping my mind off things. I look out my kitchen window into my backyard. I'm startled as I see him standing right outside my window. He's staring right at me. His face is still frozen in pain and his neck is still stretched. He reaches out towards me and in a raspy voice utters the words, "Help me. Help me." I'm so startled I jump backwards out of my chair and spill my bourbon as I fall to the floor. I hit my head on the counter and fall unconscious. When I wake up, it's early morning. My head is killing me. I would see this man every night for the next 2 weeks. I would stay up all night and it began affecting my work. I had to get help. I spoke to the department chaplain and the department psychologist. It helped for a while, But sometimes, when I'm stressed out or when I feel like too much of a failure, he comes back. Help me.
Well, wherever Mike is, I'm glad his friend decided to stick his neck out and tell us this story. Thank you ever so much for joining us this night. We hope you each and all have a most sweet sleep, and that your dreams are blessed by the Ancient One. For now, farewell, and good night.
If you have enjoyed this, please share, like, and subscribe. If you have any stories you wish to have read, send them to Sollum's Librarius on Reddit. And if you wish to support my voice, you can go to our Patreon page, as necromancers don't seem to pay well. Links to both are in the description.